for Rex Brandstatter Senior Talk, and that is brought to you by Senior Benefits and the Solon American Legion and Walden Place Senior Living. It's been a while since I've done this show. I'm thrilled we have so many sponsors, though. And now here is Rex Brandstatter. Hello.
Good afternoon, hi. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today to Senior Talk. We're going to call it a nice day because it could be worse. Believe me, folks, we had the old 10 or 12 below the other night, and that was no fun. That's no fun at all. But remember this, it's January in Iowa, and we're here, so what are we going to do, you know? Well, I think we're in better condition than they are down south. I'll give you a little update on that, that's for sure. Well, it's a great day to be here, great day to be a senior, and a wonderful day to have you join me here on Senior Talk, and thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to listening, and not only just seniors, but maybe some seniors wannabes, seniors gonnabes, those who are on the trail to their careers and their life, and someday will reach what I call age 60. That's what I consider a senior, and join us all in the senior world here. So I like the fact that a lot of people who are not seniors do listen, because maybe they have some years to go, some time to go, but maybe they could pick up some things that would help them in their trail towards retirement and becoming an older person. So that's the story. I'll do my best every week to bring some ideas that might cover important aspects of being or becoming a senior, and we'll have a little time for some history as well, that is for sure. And my name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm 75 years old, and I'm a real estate broker here in Iowa City and Coralville and Johnson County area. And I work mostly with seniors, not all, but mostly with seniors. And I have helped a lot of seniors buy homes, sell homes, commercial properties, and things like that. It's what I do. I prefer working with seniors. I work with a lot of estates, and I work with executors and administrators all the time. I get calls from attorneys. I get calls from bank trust departments to help them settle some things with clients and customers and things like that. So you can call me on my senior line, which is 319-330-5534. 330-5534. I'm always on duty. And if I'm not there, I'll certainly call you back. Well, I would say grab yourself an ice-cold root beer and a sandwich, but maybe a hot cup of coffee or a hot chocolate today might be a little bit better. But we're going to see if we can't cook something up here on Senior Talk. So thanks for listening. Let's see what we've got going. I will tell you this, it's been cold enough for me. I don't need it any colder. The good Lord doesn't have to make it any colder than this or any crappier than it was the last couple of days. That serves me fine. And remember, our little thing here on Senior Talk is that at least maybe I'm a party of one. I want January in the rearview mirror. If we can get through January, we're getting there. Today's what, the 22nd maybe, 22nd or 23rd. We're getting there. Honest to gosh, we're a week from today, we'll just about have January whipped here on Senior Talk, and that is goal one. That's my winter goal, the biggest one. We've come a long way here, so that's what we're going to do. And you kind of have to remember, my dad's one of his, you wouldn't remember this, but one of his big sayings was, even if the sun is shining bright in January, which it does, there's no heat in it. Isn't that the truth? Now, I was outside yesterday for a little ceremony outside, and the sun was out, and it was cold. It was really cold, so I just had to look up the sky and say, Dad, you're right. The sun's out, but there's no heat in it. Well, that's January for you. But I'll tell you something, folks. I'll take this over the 10 or 12 below, whatever we had, and those people down south are getting a little taste of up north. Georgia, my brother-in-law lives in Savannah, Georgia. Now, he's from northwest Iowa, so he knows winter when he sees it for sure. He's retired, and he says they don't even own a snowplow down there. And a friend of mine down in Niceville, Florida, he's right near Panama City down in that area. He said he's from Coralville, but he's retired. He lives down in Panama City, and he says they don't even own a snowplow down here. So we're going to switch over to solar snow removal. And we have good friends who are on vacation. They took their camper, and they always disappear for the month of January, and they're down in the Houston area and all of Houston, Texas. And all those areas have coal and snow. And I saw a picture today from Florida of an alligator walking across the golf course, and the golf course is totally white, and the alligator was 6 or 8 inches of snow down there, or 4 or 5, something like that. So they're dealing with it, and away we go. But the best one, and probably the most unfortunate ones of all, if it's freezing down there, they don't have the water lines where they just freeze up. They're going to have big problems for sure. Is that we have friends who loaded up all the grandkids and the grandkids' parents, which would be one of them is their child, and they loaded it all up, and they're down at Disney World as we speak, and it's 46 degrees and raining down there right now. So I don't know how much fun you can have with, I think there's four grandkids, plus mom and dad, and then grandma and grandpa. They're all down at Disney World. I can't imagine how you keep 4 little kids. I'm going to say those kids range from 6 years old to 11 years old or something like that. It's quite a man, that'd be a rough sled. So not good for them. That's just a crazy weather. Well, here we go. We're going to have to do what we have to do. It's January in Iowa. We're here, so away we go. All right. It's really not easy being a senior, and one of the issues that I have is that that's just probably me, but maybe not, is that the cell phone is the new overall importance of almost everything. You have to sign up for this and sign up for that, and get your tickets to this and get your tickets that on your phone. And I always thought a phone was to make phone calls, and now it's a computer in your pocket. Is really what it is. And we seniors, we're supposed to sign up for doctor visits and dental visits and sports tickets and parking meters and grocery store coupons and menus at restaurants. Just to name a few, and I have to be honest with you, I don't like it. I do my best to refuse to get in line with some of these things. In case in point, I renewed our season Iowa football tickets the other day, and I was asked this. I didn't want to do it on my phone because I just me, and I called the ticket office, and a nice young guy answered the phone, helping me. He says, got it all figured out, and where your seats are going to be, and here's the much for the little seat back chairs and the tickets and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then he said, do you want your tickets electronically or paper? And I said, I do not want electronic. I want paper tickets. I said, that's what I usually get. Yeah, I see that on here. He said, well, paper tickets this year, there's a $30 surcharge if you want paper tickets. I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, the university has the audacity to do that. Yes, they do. He started laughing, and because I wasn't yelling at him, I said, I think that's pretty darn sad on the university's part. Everything is an expense to them. They used to, back in the old days, they used to beg you to buy tickets, and now when you buy them, they charge you extra because you did buy them. So I'm not going to say enough's enough from these groups, anything like that. Because if you want to see their product, you got to pay the freight. If you don't want to see it, don't go. That's the way it's going to be. And there'll come a day that I don't want to go, not based on money, but based on I just don't want to do it. Everything's on a phone. So I ordered paper tickets. I said, I'll try to find $30 out of in my world somewhere and get my paper tickets. Not my thing. You could be having the best experience in the world. More power to you. It's just my not things. And I'm not really happy about it, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I just don't like to take my phone, trust myself to have it on my phone and do it right is what I'm saying. So I guess I'm just an old baby boomer guy. What did I say? My wife rolls her eyes and says, you're just an old guy. So I guess that's me. Well, I got a good one here for you, folks. I was checking out at a grocery store the other day, and a senior lady, and I would say she's in her 80s. That'd be my guess. She was I'm going to say mid-low 80s kind of a thing. That was just my observation. And her groceries went through, and she was standing there, and they asked her if she had a discount card or something. She said, a what? And so the guy, checker, just said, well, how are you going to pay for it? She said, well, just a minute. I'll write a check. And so at that time, after all her groceries, she stood there to watch everything go through and watch how much they're charging her on the screen for each item. Then she unzipped her purse and dug around and pulled out her checkbook. And I'm number 3 in line. There's the lady ahead of me, and then the lady who's checking out. So she dug out. This is all used to be the norm. This was the norm for many, many years. This little old lady, we're going to call her, dug her purse out the checkbook, had a pen in there, all over, had a pen, and looked at the ticket and wrote everything down and entered to where she was and entered the check number and all that kind of stuff. Then wrote the check and then tore it out. Took her about 2 minutes to tear it out very carefully. And it was kind of funny, but then again, in today's world, 2 or 3 people behind me got into a different line when they saw her writing a check. And she did nothing wrong. I'm not picking on her. Nobody yelled at her or said anything like that. That's probably me on my phone. That's kind of the way I probably feel my phone. The whole world's going around me, and I'm doing my best. You know, I answer calls and send texts and all those kinds of things. It's just different for us, and I'm doing my best to cope, but I'm not going to cope if I don't have to. All right, how's that? Well, so I got thinking when I was at the store, maybe I should go to self-checkout. Well, I've done that a couple times, but I don't work there. They do, and they charge you the same whether you sack your own groceries or if they pay somebody to be there, and I'd rather they do that. So I'm just an old guy, I guess. Oh, well, see. All right, well, I just remember the days of counter checks. I remember the days when the farmers, we all had counter checks, but the farmers would be in the bank and they have their bib overalls on. They just pull out a check or grab a counter check and write a check, and away you go. That was the way it was, and we'll never go back to that. I'm not saying that, but that's kind of the aura that I've come from. So, you know, here on Senior Talk, I've kind of adopted this saying of do all you can while you can. And I really mean that, do all you can while you can. And by that, I mean, you know, whether you're a stamp collector or a bird watcher or a cross-country skier or you a motorcycle guy or you travel, whatever you do, you do it all while we can. Because, you know, as seniors, we're down there on the fourth turn, and we never know when and if we're going to stumble. We could stumble this afternoon. We don't know. That's the hard part. So a lady said to me, I said, what I mean by that is anything you can physically or mentally do and just get started. If it's walking or reading or going to sports or music events or traveling or meet with friends, just go do it. Do all you can while we can. That's the deal. Well, a senior lady came up to me at the Coral Ridge Mall while I was doing a walking the other day and just kind of stretch out in the cold days and get the old blood going and enjoy an hour or so of a good walk. And she said this, I heard you on your Senior Talk the other day, and you said do all you can while you can, and she said it hit me. You are suggesting that we seniors need or / could get on with things because we might not have as much time left as we have in younger days. And that's exactly what I mean. It's just time. If your thing is sitting on in the chair looking out the window, I guess that's your thing. More power to you. I'm not questioning that. If it's a little more active than that, and not so sedentary, why it's just a good time to go do whatever you can. A friend of mine, case in point, said to me the other day, well, I'm going to do some things. I listen to your show, so I'm going to do some things. I'm leaving Sunday, which was just this past Sunday. I'm going to Minnesota and with some people, and we are going bird watching. I said, what? He said, well, we're looking for snowy owls and 2 or 3 other species of owls, and they seem to come from Canada and hang around this area up by Duluth and Superior. I said, so you're going to go up there this week? He's up there right now, matter of fact. You're going to go up there in the middle of winter and try to find one. I said, do you know where they're at? We have areas that we've been before. And I said, is this a lot of walking? He said, well, we take the back roads and drive around back roads, and we spend a lot of time glassing and using telescopes and binoculars and things like that. And when we see one, then they're not really scared away too awful bad. We just get as close as we can and use our big fancy Dan cameras. So he's up there right now trying to take pictures of the snowy owls and other owls in northern Minnesota. Well, that's what he likes to do. In the summer, then he goes to Yellowstone and other places around the Midwest. That's just his hobby. So he's retired, more power to him. He's doing all he can while he can. I said, well, what's the temperature up there? He said, well, the high tomorrow, which would have been on Monday, was supposed to be 15 to 18 below zero. He said, that's the high. So now, I said, knock yourself out and have fun, because he's all excited about it. And it is. More power to him. So that's the story. These are people who are out doing whatever they can right now. So a senior man advises that he met with his bank last week to, quote, review our CDs and when our rollover days are and some strategies. I said, well, good for you. He says, it looks like the rates are a lot lower, as you mentioned, but the banker advised that the bank really does not expect them to go up. And the bank didn't expect them to go down, depending on the economy. He said they're just kind of stuck in the middle, you know, right now, which is, I guess, which is true. So I said, well, if you're a, quote, gambling man, I said, he said, I just don't know what to do. They're not very good. I said, I get it. I said, as a senior, which I am, as a senior, the best thing they offer, and remember, I'm not your banking advisor. I'm not your financial advisor, ladies and gentlemen. I said, the best thing a CD offers, and it's not a get-rich-quick game on a CD. It is a steady Eddie. Safe, guaranteed, safe. All right? That's really all it has going for it. So if you want to really go to it, get yourself an advisor. Get in the stock market. If you do that, more power to you for there. Get in mutual funds. And a mutual fund is you buy a fund. You give a company, I want to pick a number out, $5,000, $20,000, $100,000, and they invest in the stock market in a mutual fund. And in a mutual fund, there might be some that have farming, supply stores. Might be one that has real estate. All kinds of different. You can do different sectors. A to Z things you like. So the theory is if there's 20 companies in that one fund, and 6 of them go down and 11 of them go up, that's a good day for you. So more power to you. Just the guy was just not overwhelmed by CDs, which nobody ever is. It's just a matter of CDs are what they call, they'll saying ships are safest in the harbor, but that's not why they made a ship, you know. And that's a CD. It's safest in the bank, but it's not where you're going to make any money. It's just going to be there when and if you ever need it. So that's what we came to the conclusion of, and we both agreed to that. Well, a senior lady asks and says this: I keep seeing home improvement shows with new kitchen layouts and appliances. They never show much about bathrooms or living rooms. And I said, well, that is correct, and that is by design. The kitchen is the hub of activity in every house. In the last time you hosted a group at your house, where did you all hang around? I guarantee you it was the kitchen. Everybody gravitates to the kitchen because that's where the food and drink is. There are countertops out there. You can get yourself a plate of munchies and a Coke or whatever, your root beer, whatever you're going to have out there. And that's what it is. So that's why on the programs, it's also the most expensive part of the house. So they're not trying to get you to remodel the back bedroom. There's nothing there but 4 walls, you know, and maybe a TV set. Yeah, it makes sense. So that's why they do the kitchens. And as a realtor, when you show houses, people want to get to the kitchen. As soon as you get there, they look around and they're looking for the kitchen. They want to get there. And they want to see the layout. They want to see the appliances and the layout and the countertops and the lighting. And that's what people want to do. So if you're watching these shows, I watch them once in a while if I see one I like. They're always in the kitchen. They can move bedrooms around. They can make this wall or that wall, more window space. You just notice how much time an hour show, how much time they do spend in the kitchen for sure. So I asked her, I said, well, why don't you take a look at your kitchen? Yeah. She said, oh, brother, is what she said. I said, is it way past time for an update? How about countertops? Well, the hottest thing are slate or quartz, or lighting, flooring, or cupboards, or just handles on the cupboards. You know, you don't have to change cupboards, but sometimes you need new handles on there. And you can go to Menards or Lowe's or lots of different places, and they have a pretty big selection of different handles. They really do. Just little things like that, you could do that. The lighting and the flooring are so important, and it really, folks, if you're a senior, you're living in your home, and you're going to stay there, hope to stay there, plan to stay there, and you've got lighting that isn't sufficient, you've got countertops that have had it, worn out, and the coloring is gone, things like that, and the flooring is suspect, and the stove is got to kick it a couple times to get it going, and the microwave is about half. Move on, folks. Get some stuff. Get moving. We got some great vendors in this town. Go check on some prices and check around. And I'm not even going to say treat yourself, because this isn't a treat. This is how you have to do to live. You can live frugally and you can live minimally all you want. That's your entire your business. But for your own subtleness and your own pleasure, go do some from home. And the other thing is you'll increase the value of your home. Other things will increase the saleability, but remodeling a kitchen will increase the value of your home. That is a fact. You'll get your money back and more. Well, some big things going on with those fires in California, which relate right back to us because it's all going to come home to roost. These insurance companies are, as they would say, they're taking it in the shorts. They're going to take it in the shorts out in California. As we can see, all the ravaging and the damage out there, it remains to be seen what is going to happen, but I guarantee you they're all going to be calling their insurance guy. You know that, if they can get to a phone, if they rescued their phone. Isn't that sad? So the insurance is going to go up. Now, I have one of my groups I'm in, the insurance on a property that we have, the insurance went up $12,000. We just got the thing. So now it's an HOA, it's kind of name association. We have to go around everybody and raise the dues. It's just what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. So I've been asking the question to myself. I haven't talked to any insurance people. I'm not an insurance man. I'm not an insurance rep or anything like that. I pay just my premiums whenever they send them to me. I don't like it and I complain, but insurance is a pretty cheap safeguard against the loss of what's going to happen. So, but I'm starting to think that insurance companies, and I've never heard this from anybody, and if insurance people want to call me on my senior line and yell at me for this, I don't know, but I will take a bet that in the next couple of years, a lot of people decide not to buy insurance. Scared away. I will bet that the insurance companies on the other side will come back and say, well, we're only going to insure you and or any homes for 75% of the agreed value, or maybe even 50%. So if your house burns down now and you've got full coverage, and your house burns down or blows away or blows up, whatever happens to it, and you're covered for $300,000, pick a number, $250,000. Right now they're going to pay whatever coverage you negotiate with them, but in the future they may only pay half of that. Well, you got to have some skin in the game. We're only going to cover that. You're not going to get a choice. They're only going to cover half or three-quarters. I think that's the way they're going to start to compromise their exposure on these things. That's the only thing I can see. Again, I'm not in the insurance business, but I'm sure I didn't think that up on my own. I'm sure that they're already thinking about there'll be less coverage. They'll roll it back and pare it back for us. I don't know how many will do that on their own. I just don't know. You might just say, you know something, a house is paid for, and I think I'll just self-insure. What does that mean? Self-insure. Self-insure means that if your house burns down, you don't call the insurance companies. You say, okay, clean it up, send me the bill, build me a new house, send me the bill after you work with a contractor, and you'll write a check for it, okay? Or you will go get a new mortgage and start over. That's an option for you, too. So we'll see. There's huge change coming because it's going to get really bad, folks. I mean, it already is. It's not the best in the West. It's still cheaper than, I guess, in the long run, insurance is still a good deal. I'm not here to tell you not to insure your house, for God's sake. Don't do. That's up to you, not my call. That's up to you and your. If you have a mortgage, you have to have insurance on your house. If you don't have a mortgage, you don't have to have insurance on your house. It's up to you. So there you go. How about some ideas that will or might even stimulate your brain and confuse you and make you work to do something you do all the time? You get a load of that? What could we do to stimulate your brain, maybe confuse you a little bit, and make you work a little harder to do something you do all the time and take for granted? Well, Rex, you big dummy, why would I do that? Why would I confuse myself? Well, apparently they say it's good for the brain to challenge yourself to some thinking, some different ideas out of the box. And here's about as rough and tough as the seniors can get, maybe. Go to a different grocery store than you usually go to. I know I told you, I don't know how, but they're going to have different items in different locations, and you're not going to know where the Velveeta cheese is. You're not going to know where the sparkling water is. You're not going to know anything like that. You're going to have to start over. But it's going to make you think. it's going to confuse you. Just what I said. It's going to take more time. Because right now, I can walk in the grocery store I go to, and I know where probably 90% of the stuff is or better. But sometimes I think, why don't I just drive down to this town and go to their grocery store and get some different things? It totally will confuse, which I've done. I went to the grocery store in Tipton not too long ago, downtown Tipton on the main drag there on 38. And it's all kind of, if you will, different things. It's all the same, I suppose, but different things, different prices. They were a little higher, of course, but I just kind of thought kind of fun stuff to do that. You kind of walk in like you're lost. You don't know where anything is, but there's always people there to help you, most generally. If not, you'll strike out. So go to it, see what you think, try it out. I've got one up my sleeve. My wife doesn't usually go with me on things like that. She rolls her eyes and thinks I'm crazy, but I probably am. But it's just a way to challenge yourself. Go to a different grocery store. It's kind of fun. I find it a challenge. I really do. And I always find some things that, gosh, I forgot about those things, and here they are in this grocery store. Have at it, my friends. If it doesn't make any sense, just stay there and drink your root beer and eat a sandwich. I don't care. Just trying to get you stirred up here. I'm always looking for something to do along the lines of history, which I really like. And one day last week, I was out and about, so here's what I did. I did my little couple errands, and then I got a hot idea up my sleeve, which I've done a million times on this thing. I drove east on Iowa City on Highway 6. I drove out east past Procter & Gamble, and I went to Scott's Corner. You know where Scott's Corner is? If you go east of Procter & Gamble, just keep going, and you'll go and go and go. I'm going to say 4 or 5 miles, 5 miles, I'm going to guess, and you'll come to not a fork in the road, but on the left-hand turn, right there is a little bitty county park. It's called Scott's Corner, and I want you to turn left there because that used to be Highway 6 coming out of West Liberty or going to West Liberty. That's the way you went through Iowa City. And turn to the left there if you're out there, or just drive out there way out on East Muscatine Avenue and turn around and come back. And it's just you're all of a sudden you're not on Highway 6 going towards Procter & Gamble. You're on the original Highway 6. Now, if you live in Iowa City, you know they call Highway 16 and 218, they call it the bypass. So that store's down on the bypass. Well, that area out past Procter & Gamble, that too is part of the bypass because the Highway 6 went out there on American Legion Road. That was Highway 6. So I was out of Scott's Corner and I turned left, and that's when I call the fun began. Well, this was the U.S. Highway 6. You are now on historic Highway 6. It ran from Connecticut to California, right where you're on it there, out by Scott's Corner. And it's pretty neat deal. So westward ho as I drove pretty slowly, and you could see the farms out there, and a lot of those are seed corn places out there. The big MAPCO underground storage tanks for propane and gas lines are out there. And as you come towards Iowa City, not far past over the railroad tracks there, out in the field, a little ways out in the field, you will see a white fence out there, a 3-sided fence, I think it is, and there's a grave out there. And I do know who's buried there. I forgot to bring it here, but they farm around it. It looks to me like the boards need a good coat of paint. I don't know who's supposed to do that. I don't know if there's a cemetery sexton that should do that, or if some local volunteers do that. I don't know. And you can't go on the land because it's private land, so you'd have to find out the farmer's name and see if he paints it or who comes out there, because it needs kind of a tune-up for whoever is out there. So you can see things like that. And as you come into town, if you've been around for a while, even if you're new, you'll see a new school out there. Hoover School is out there, and across from Hoover School would have been the old old Fairview Golf Course. Now, we played there many, many times as a kid. That's where I learned to play golf in the 50s. My dad, we drove from Corville out there. We also played at Finkbine, North Finkbine, or Little Finkbine. We played there. But we drove out to Fairview Golf Course a lot, way out there on that end of town. So as you're coming into town from Scott's Corner, you'll go past that. And as you go past that, then not thereafter, on your left, you'll see a big yellow barn, which was a milking barn, a farm there. It was a milking barn. Well, now it's in condos. I think there's 5 I've sold one years and years ago. There's a condominiums in there. People live in that barn. It's yellow and white. It's very unique. But that was the countryside. And as you come to town, you start to see businesses. And if you start looking for things, you'll see things. You might see where there was an old gas station, if you remember. You might see this was a gas station here. There was a restaurant there. You're into the Town Crest area, and across the street from Bob Bell's Standard Station used to be. There was a Conoco station on the corner, at the corner of Court Street and First Avenue. There, just west of that, was the Burmeister Hotel. Ivan Burmeister and his wife had a hotel there, and it was like a blue top. It was 4 or 5 little cabins. Because remember, now you're on the cross country road in the 30s and the 40s. There was that set up, and then as you go around the bend there, heading towards the downtown, just go around that curve there, and not a little ways towards you go right past F Street. You're westbound, so to speak. You'll see a house that sits kind of on a little corner, and it's got a driveway that goes in one side and comes out the other with 2 curb cuts. Well, that was a gas station. And then the farther you go, you'll go past, I think it's called a Watts Antique Store or something. That was a grocery store, and a block later is Seaton's Grocery Store, and another block up the street where you're going to go to the left was Corniger's Grocery Store. 3 grocery stores in a block and a half. And that was the Ma and Pa grocery store. The people lived upstairs for the most part in those places. And you might have shopped at one, but not the other. I mean, you might have shopped for groceries on this one, but went to the other one for the meat market. It was crazy things back there, kind of what I'm recommending you do. But back then, you could have walked to 3 different grocery stores. So as you're coming up Burlington, or west on Burlington Street, you start to go past Summit Street. And at the corner of Burlington and Summit, if you take a little side trip here and turn to the left there, Burlington Summit, and go south on Summit, your first street to the left is going to be Court Street. Well, just pull over to the curb, pull over to the west curb, and look in that area where Court Street meets Summit Street. Look on what you look on the west side of the street. You will see the old a marker that was put there in 1839. That was the southeast corner when they laid Iowa City out. When Chauncey Swan and John Ronalds and a couple other people, the commission located the place for the old capital. Iowa's not first capital, but the new capital. They went a mile in each direction. The marker is still there. It's a cement pier about belt high, and it's still there right there. All right, that's a little history there for you. Grant Wood lives right around the corner on Court Street there. But get back over to Burlington and head back west towards Corville. You're back on historic Highway 6, and you go past some of the old houses that used to be there on Highway 6. You know, there no frat house there, but there's sorority homes there and rental properties there and new conversions. And pretty soon you're going to come to Burlington Street. You're on Burlington. Going to come to Gilbert Street on that southwest corner. If you're local, Bob and Henry's gas station, and there's a convenience store there, of course. But it's diagonally across from the rec center, Iowa City Rec Center. Bob and Henry's was like the last vestige almost of a downtown gas station. It was the old gas station. It kind of looked like something out of a Danish folklore type of thing. I don't know, big spires on it. It was a cool place. And it was called Bob and Henry's for the owners at one time, and it's a great place to go. And as you get back on, you go westbound, you go downhill. Oh, by the way, when you're off Summit Street, you're at Summit Street, you're heading west. From Summit Street in Burlington down to the Iowa River, it's a 90-foot drop in elevation, 90 feet. That's pretty big. So before you go across the Burlington Street Bridge on the left-hand corner there, on the corner of Capitol Street down there, out at the bottom of the hill, here across the street, from the university swimming pool there, across the street on the northeast corner used to be the Oldsmobile Garage. On the southwest corner was the grocery store. Can't remember the name of it, but we used to go there in high school. Grocery store, convenience store across the corner there now. All these things were here, and then you go across the bridge, and in today's world, you go across the bridge. By the way, they're going to replace both those bridges within the next 5 years, believe it or not. You go around the bend and go to Coralville, and the VA got there in 1852. The interurban tracks that go right along the highway there as you go next to, they got here in 1903. And they started an interurban from Cedar Rapids to Iowa City, the train and the trolley in 1904. And you could ride from Coralville or North Liberty to Iowa City for 10 cents. You could ride, when I was a kid then, you could ride from Iowa City or Coralville to Cedar Rapids for a kid for 10 cents. I think it was 20 cents for mom and dad. And as you're westbound there in Coralville now, you come on the Coralville Strip, which was Rocky Shore Drive. You went past Newton Road, that type of thing. That's a different story, but all kinds of neat things. Then you're on the Coralville Strip, and you go around the corner on First Avenue. When you go around the corner, that's the way the original road went. That's the way Historic Route 6 goes, if you're following Historic Route 6. From there west, clear out to the mall, that is the bypass. That's new, about 1955, 54, 55. And as you're in Coralville, you go up towards the dam that go across Clear Creek there. That's the fourth bridge that was there, the fourth bridge. And that bridge was so important back in the 1840s and 1860s and on beyond, so farmers could get there from the south and go across that bridge when they brought their grain out to the grain grist mill in Coralville to have it ground, because that grist mill had the largest grist mill in southern Minnesota and northern Missouri and Iowa and western Illinois. True story. And they came from all over to get their grain ground at that Coralville mill. And as you turn to the west there were grocery stores up in that parking lot in the north end of the parking lot of what was Iowa River Bar Restaurant. There was a stagecoach stop. There was a clamming operation with houses up there. That was the downtown Coralville, folks. Neat. And then the Kosher store was on the corner, and the old Wagon Wheel Tavern was right around the corner there. And lots of other businesses. You go up now, the old school is still up there, the 1876, and right across the street is old Coralville Town Hall, which was not there. It was down on 2nd Avenue. They moved it there maybe 10 years ago. But it creates a little historic Coralville district. Then you go westbound on 5th Street, you're on old Highway 6. And you go clear out to Highview, you come to 20th Avenue. You'll go past the Coralville Park and the duck pond and the fire station, all those things. Not much history out there then, for sure. But at the duck pond, we call it on the right-hand side there, right along the road, you'll see the stone that commemorates the Mormon trek across Iowa, how they came and started right down there south of Hills Bank on the Strip, and across the creek is where they all camped and then started their hand cart. There's a lot of things to see, and right across the street from the Coralville American Legion. By the way, the Coralville American Legion is right there. Right across the street when I was a kid was the Studebaker Garage. Right east of the Coralville American Legion was Robinson's Furniture. Right east of that was the Ken Wall Imports, sold the import Porsches and MGs on the Coralville Street. Lots and lots of history out there. Not 1850s and stuff like that. There was nobody here. But westbound, just keep going after you get back on the Coralville Strip there, and you go out past before you get to Lowe's on that corner. There was the cabin. Trying to think, the motel was out there with the little cabins, Oak Grove Motel, and on out into Tiffin. Well, that's just a little bit of thing you could do this afternoon. It's a little crappy out there this afternoon if you seem to be out driving, but maybe on a little warmer day, turn the heat up and get in the car and drive that, and keep your eyes open for things, and maybe stop across the street for one. You say, didn't this used to be old Bob's gas station, or didn't we used to have a restaurant type of there? That's what you're going to find. So that's the story, what we have up my sleeve this week. I'm doing my best to have fun, and have fun I am. I hope you are too. Knock on wood, we'll all get to do something till we can't. And so keep your health going, keep your chin up, and we'll get through this January together, and then we'll slug it out with February, but we're going to do our best. So my plan is to do something to help the people in California with those fires, but I plan to do so by working and donating to a local organization that will be doing something for the effort. So there'll be a church group or somebody from here going out there. I plan to help that group rather than go online and spend. I never know where my money goes or if they ever got it. So that's the story. Keep warm, and always remember, I want you to think about do all you can while you can. So this is Rex Brandstatter saying thank you so much for listening to Senior Talk. Stay warm, and we'll see you next time. So long.